So moving to Code RealTime 3.10, we have improved the way how excluded elements can be shown on diagrams. So now you can choose between if you want to hide them, as they are done in model RealTime, or if you want to show them, but with a different visualization, as I think was the case in rows RealTime. So we have now both those options implemented in Code RealTime. And there are also similar improvements in the code generator, so that now it handles transitions that are implicitly excluded, meaning that they are not excluded themselves, but either the source or the target state is excluded, and thereby the transition also is excluded. We have also added support for two more TC properties in Code RealTime. This time it's the source subdirectory and unit subdirectory properties that can be set if you want to have the generated code placed under subfolders. And it's done both in the UI, in the TC editor, and also in the code generator. Then we have improved the support for visualizing C++ code in class diagrams. So previously this feature was available, but only if you had your C++ code embedded inside art files. But actually, there are many benefits to write C++ code directly in header files. So now we have extended this feature so that you can directly visualize the types that you have in your header files. And there are also improvements like navigation from the diagrams to the code. And we also now show more relationships. Previously, we only showed inheritance. Now we can also show associations in these diagrams. And related to tracing is the sequence diagram support in Code RealTime. That was also improved. So you will see now that diagrams look a bit nicer, a bit more compact than before. We also introduced a special lifeline that is called the external lifeline. We use that as the sender if a message doesn't have another sender, which can happen, for example, if you inject a message programmatically into your application. For example, if you're debugging it with the art debugger and you send a message from that debugger, then that message will have the external lifeline as the sender. And there are also support for navigation now implemented from diagrams to the trace file by double click. Another thing we did is that we have extended the UI and the code generator. So now you can have deep history symbols also in class with state machine. And there was also a drawback before that I think some of you may have noticed, that if you have C++ or had C++ source files together with art files in your workspace folders, then you were yourself responsible for creating these JSON files, which the language server extensions for C++ require in order to get editing things like tooltips and navigation to work in VS Code. But now these JSON files are automatically generated when you are setting the TC as active, which actually saves quite a lot of work. We did also some improvements in the area of makefile generation. We have now a better condition for detecting which make dialect to use. So now we have switched so that the default is GNU Make, since we think that is what most people are using. And then we are only generating nmake if we can conclude that you are using a Windows-specific target runtime system. There is also a variable called $default make command that is supported by model RealTime, but was not supported in Code RealTime. But now it's expanded correctly if used in this make command TC property. And Art Compiler also saw many improvements, except for bug fixes. There were 2 more properties supported, which correspond to properties that you in model RealTime find under the C++ or general C++ and target RTS property pages.